Hey, so between classes, and then I'm gonna build a puzzle with my kids, but I wanted to jump on here. Both my classes I actually canceled and just went on a rant. Talking to Kyle Carter, who's a friend of mine, and he's an activist and he's awesome. And I've had him on my podcast, and he said, this is we've seen this. This was like the working class white people who just didn't feel recognized, didn't feel heard. They went for Trump because they just wanted to feel recognized. And people, that's so important because that's the oppressor side, but what's going on is something that I've been talking about on here for a long time, guys. This is not about racism. It's not. It should be. It's where it started. It should be about, more specifically, it should be about the criminal justice system. It should be about the improvements that need to happen in the criminal justice system and about the way policing is done, the way that they are trained, the way the DA's office works. All of that stuff is what it should be about. And racism is a part of that because I'm not ignorant. I believe that there are racist tendencies. Now, the reasons why are, all over the place. But that's been hijacked by this very scary, super progressive is what it's called, but it's super left agenda of oppressor versus the oppressed. And because I have so many different, media sources coming my way, I read this story about an Ethiopian woman who owned a restaurant and gave up her own insurance to pay the salaries of her employees during COVID. So an Ethiopian woman owned a restaurant. Black woman, immigrant. Restaurant was burned to the ground. Okay? It's about she is an oppressor because she has a restaurant. If you look at what the tagging say, it's not about, which sucks because I think the majority is still people that are advocating for criminal justice reform, that are for George Floyd and recognizing that what that cop did is happening across the country. I think that there's a lot of that, but it's being hijacked, not the people who are causing chaos. The people causing chaos, whether you want to call it Antifa or you want to call it the far left, whatever you want to call it, they say things like, you can't steal on stolen land. You can't steal on stolen land. Michael Moore said, we should release all nonviolent offenders from prison. Nonviolent offenders. Not marijuana, not people who've been arrested for marijuana. That's not what they're saying. Nonviolent offenders, which means you can walk into someone's house and steal. Okay? Because they're changing the rules. I put it out yesterday. I said, what is too far? What is the line? And I talked to some people that are, very encouraging of the protests, all the protests. And they said, that's not the question to ask. There is no line because of what America has to pay for what it has done. Michael Moore said, America has made nothing good except for Hostess cupcakes and the electronic toothbrush. And then he typed that into his Apple laptop and posted on social media. This is really scary, and this is what I'm talking about. Social justice is not about social justice. It's about power. It's about getting power, and it's so frustrating because why is it that black conservative voices are not a part of this? Why is it that even black centrist voices, Coleman Hughes, John McWhorter, they're not involved? In fact, people will do crazy mental gymnastics to avoid having to reconcile what a brilliant college professor, economist like Glenn Loury has to say about this. Silence Glenn Loury, professor at Brown, black man. Silence, Royal Ellis, who I had on my podcast, who is an African-American cop. Okay, straddles those lines. Silent him. Because he's not supporting this. You can't support this. You can't say that different rules apply for you because you are historically oppressed. You can't do that. If I'm going to play Michael Jordan in basketball, I will lose. So what do? Do you break Michael Jordan's legs, or do you get better at basketball? And you're going to still lose to Michael Jordan, but you can't change the rules. When you change the rules, the 14th Amendment is clear. Equal protection under the law. That doesn't happen in the criminal justice system. I'm with you on that. So let's focus on that. But two wrongs don't make a right, and we know this. So these really smart people have to do this crazy mental gymnastics to get around why it's okay to rob Louis Vuitton. I think the people silencing them, and you can ask them directly, but I think the people silencing them are the people it doesn't fit their narrative. You have to reconcile. If you're dealing with someone who is, brilliant and, a black woman who's a conservative and has a lot of thoughts on this matter, you can't engage with her because she'll run laps around you. Now that's why, there's a real difference between, let's take Killer Mike and Michael Moore. Very different. And listen to their messages. Completely different. And one of them knows the community better than the other and all that kind of stuff. But the idea that there's no line, you don't want to play that game, guys. You can't play a game like the rules don't apply to us because we're historically oppressed. Because these rednecks are just itching. They're just itching. They're playing. They're like, all right, fine, no rules. You can't. I don't know if it's wise to be anti-gun and try and start a revolution. Come on. But the social justice and this movement, anti-racism. It's called anti-racism. So you can't be against anti-racism. It's like if you made a company called Helping Orphans and you say, hey, you want to help orphans? No, you don't want to help orphans. Disabled orphans. The name of my company is Disabled Orphans. Now what we do is it's a sweatshop, or we rob people, or we hurt people, or we do terrible things, but it's called Disabled Orphans. That's what my issue has been since the beginning with the social justice movement. And that's why I push all this stuff. It's not that I'm against social justice. I'm not against helping orphans. What are you, nuts? What are you, ridiculous? Everyone was on board that what happened to George Floyd was disgusting. Everyone's on board with that. But it's not about that. It should be. And it was. And I think it is for a lot of you. I think for a lot of you, it is about that. It is legitimate. And it is this is about racism. I've talked to a lot of young black kids, especially young black men. And, this is real. This is something that we need to address, and it's getting hijacked. And it's a shame. And I think that when we have these celebrities saying go get them, fuck Trump, all that stuff, you're crazy. Wait till they jump the wall in Beverly Hills to your house. Okay? We need to set lines. Bret Weinstein is as progressive as it gets. Come on. He rides his bike to his hippie university to teach biology. Voted for Bernie Sanders. But he drew a line. And they came after him. And this feels like what happened to Evergreen. If you don't know what happened to Evergreen, look up the Mike Nania documentary. You can DM me. I'll send it to you. But this is what happened to Evergreen scaled up. The people who created this know what they're doing. But it's anti-capitalism. They went after the banks. They went to Santa Monica. They went to the nice areas. They smash stuff. It's chaos. And it's pushed by the anti-capitalists. And then it's going to fall on the black community. It's going to fall on the black community, and they're going to come out of this worse. And that sucks. Because there's real things that need to get done. We need to get better training for cops. We need to get more community outreach. We need to get mental training. We need to respect police, make it a job that people would actually want to do. Who would want to be a cop right now? But we need police. Glenn Lowry said it. He's like people in bad neighborhoods, and some of you might live in bad neighborhoods or from bad neighborhoods, you want the police. The vast, vast, vast majority, I talked about this with Tesla Figaro, the vast majority, with Danny Solario, of people in bad neighborhoods, they are not committing crimes. They hate the crime element in their neighborhoods. And cops are doing bad stuff too. Cops are being gross right now too. They're abusing this power. Because who wants to be a cop right now? Think about this. Who wants to be a cop right now? I know who. People go, I want to crack some fucking skulls. You burned down my uncle's building. I'm going to fuck you up legally. That's who we're getting to be cops now. And good cops are just like, I'm out. I'm trying to help you. And you're screaming, fine, I'm out. And then we're going to get bad cops. It's going to get worse. And these flames have been fanned by the university system and by my fellow teachers who will not set lines that no matter what, oh, you're an oppressed person, no matter what you do is okay. That is not. Don't you have kids? I have kids. Can I imagine steering my kid into being angry when they're not angry, not having gratitude for all the beautiful blessings in their life, and then saying no matter what you do, because you are you, because of your skin color, or because of whatever it is, because you are you, you have carte blanche. You have, you can do whatever you want. The rules don't apply to you. It's cruel to do to people in marginalized communities. But it's done by people in their ivory towers at these universities pushing a lot of these oppression studies, this bullshit. And this is all coming to a head now. It's we have to set lines. We have to set lines. We have to say violence is wrong, period. Violence is wrong, period. Destruction of property is wrong, period. The laws that apply to you apply to me. You're trans, black, gay, Muslim, I don't care. 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law. And when that doesn't happen, it sucks and we go after it. We go after it. And we fight and we fight and we fight to get justice. It's not equity. Equity is so destructive. I'm going to play Michael Jordan. I'm watching Last Dance. Michael Jordan would beat me in basketball. So I can either work really hard on my game and still never beat him, but bust my butt and get pretty damn good at basketball, or we can break Michael Jordan's knees. Then I'll win. This is baby thinking, and it's pushed by really smart people because they know that if they call it social justice, they call it anti-racism, they call it equity, they call it all these good things, then you can't say no. How else can we get a revolution, a violent, bloody revolution? How else can we get a dictatorship other than under the disguise of something very, very benevolent? That's the only way it'll pass, and they know that. Yeah, Trojan horse. That's exactly what it is. This is stuff that Weinstein brothers and Sam Harris, James Lindsay, Peter Boghossian, all these brilliant people that Joe Rogan has had on his podcast, Jordan Peterson, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, all these people are all pushing against this stuff for years. I saw it years ago. I started this podcast about it and this social media about it. And it's happening. I know what this is. And it's a shame. And you guys are following me for a reason. And you have to set lines, and you have to make the people who are angry and there for the right reasons and are justifying this, you have to let them know that you are on their side. But violence is not the answer. Period. It's not okay for cops to do what they're doing, the ones that are, and it's not okay to do what the looters are doing. Period. And we can do that ourselves. But this is a game that you'll lose. The looters will lose. And the people that will lose the most are the ones that need it the most. The black communities that are not being treated equally under the law, those are the ones that are losing out. And it's this movement that I am very in favor of is being hijacked. No, maybe I'll put this on my social media. Whatever. You know what? You want to claim that I'm racist? Come on. Because I have invited so many super woke left people to come on my podcast. And the ones that do, either they get exposed as being nonsensical and don't talk to me anymore, or they're the real deal and they're awesome and they get it. And they understand that it's being hijacked. I will talk to anybody. I'm not racist because I'm too logical. I'm too logical. That's the problem. It's not even a moral thing. I'm not like even a nice person. Just not gonna believe some stupid concept that you are not capable because of the color of your skin or something stupid like that. So, cool. All right. Well, all right. I'm gonna go build a puzzle with my kids. I've seen this coming. So, for those of you that are saying nice things, please. It sounds weird to say, but like share my social media, because I don't know who else is talking about this, especially in the education world. And one thing that I can do is I can explain things simply and I can talk to young people. But I'm up against everyone else in education who still thinks that this is about race, and it's not. This is not the way to do it. So, all right, guys. Love you guys. Thank you.